Hello, everyone. Jose J. Garcia with Mobile Home University here. So let's talk about beginners. Okay, you're coming into mobile home investing, and this could be for anybody, from real estate investors to teachers to realtors to coaches to it does not matter. Okay, this can be beneficial to any of y'all. Now, if you're already in real estate, there's a lot of things that you may already be aware of or at least can figure out just because you're coming from the field of that sense investing. Now, there's a big difference between mobile homes and real estate, but you've been in the field, so you understand that it is a house in a sense, right? So you'll be able to, I think real estate investors catch on a little bit more, but you're also the hardest to teach and coach. So I say that all the time, and that's because you have your real estate habits. Nothing wrong with it. The reason behind this video is beginners. I'm hearing a lot, so much more, and I love it. But I want to get into mobile home investing. I don't know where to get started. I don't know if something is a good deal. I don't know what should I be spending. What is a mobile home worth? And that's huge. That is huge. And we're going to touch up on some of that here. But the goal behind this is to get you motivated, right? Sometimes all you need is that little extra push, and I'm here to give it to you. So get into it. That's my thing, is get into it. Take action. Okay. You can learn, you can educate yourself X amount, and you should absolutely. Don't just jump in somewhere and think you're going to succeed just because you took action. There is a sense to that behind as well. But get on my YouTube channel, get on other YouTube channels that you see, learn as much as you can, but stop hesitating because you're holding yourself at a certain time. You're starting to try to learn too much, and you just holding back. I've talked to some people who've been trying to get into mobile home investing now probably a year at least. I mean, they're still talking about my first deal coming up. You got to jump in at a certain time. You're never going to know all the above. Stop trying to figure it out. You can go to any of my students and they will let you know, even with my coaching programs, when they get out in the field and I let them know okay, you're gonna stumble upon more questions, and that's because no deal is the same. Every mobile home, every deal is different, and each has its own issues, its own concerns, its own rehabs that are different. So it's not until you get out there that you can start really seeing, oh my gosh, kind of different questions. But I'm here for you. If you do need coaching at that time, we're not tossing you out there somewhere. Get into it. If you need me to coach, there's my email right there. I'll be happy to assist you. So there's always somebody out there doing what you're doing, okay? And you will figure it out. But the first step is jump in there. So let's break some of these here. And I'm not gonna make this video super long for you here. So the first thing that I would say to any beginner is, educate yourself as much as you can. Absolutely. But don't take on too big of projects, because just like there are so many people who hesitate, there is some people who come into it and just bite more than they can handle. And by that I mean they want to immediately go from nothing to I want to buy about 10 mobile homes. I want to start moving these. I want to look into buying a mobile home park. Hey, by all means, I think that's awesome. I think you definitely high five for taking action, but I think you need to back up just a little bit. Okay. You have to test the waters before you jump in. You have to walk before you run. And same here, how about start with one unit? Go ahead and get in there. Absolutely. Get in there, jump in, figure it out, see what you learn from it. So that on your second, third, fourth deal, now you know certain things you should not do. And you've also learned things that worked out and you should multiply to do. So it's all about that learning, and it's taking steps, you will get there. Okay. So I would say start slow, but get started. I would say start with 90 models. There's so much legality. There's so many things that go hand in hand. When you talk about something like a 1960s mobile home, and I've owned some of these, so nothing against them, but it's just different things that you have to learn. When you get under 1976, those are pre-HUD. Uh, and that's been another video to break HUD and what it means and what you can and can't do certain things. But one thing for sure is you cannot legally DOT, and this is across the board nationwide, you cannot move a mobile home on the road that is 1976 or older. So keep that in mind. And again, I tell many of my students, if it's a 1978 or 79, you probably shouldn't be moving it anyway. So, it just kind of, again, goes hand in hand with that. But I would tell a newbie, get into some 90s, maybe some 95s, 96, maybe early 90s. That's okay. These are newer units. They're built a lot different, a lot better. And look for something that doesn't need an extreme makeover. All exclusive rehab. Okay. Again, if you're new, you're coming in, there's a lot of things that you're gonna have to watch out for, including the labor. Where are you at with your handyman contractors? I mean, are you coming from this field? Maybe you are a contractor yourself, so maybe something like this wouldn't concern you. What about material though? How much will it take to actually bring in material alone to be able to rehab whatever home that it is? And where will it put you at the end of the day on your full investment? So things to watch out for. So find something that doesn't need, and you're not going to find something that just needs to clean up, and you're not going to find something that isn't move-in ready, because then if it is, it's probably not that good of a deal or a deal at all. Not to say that they don't exist out there, okay, but saying, get something inside of a community park that needs little work, come in and see what you can do to bring it back up to livable, presentable condition, and it's good to go. Then you move on to your next one and your next one. Get the invest in parks that are large. Nothing against the small mom and pop parks, 15 mobile homes, 10 mobile homes, nothing wrong with that. But odds are you're probably not going to do a whole lot of investing there, just because, how many people are really going to sell and buy. And usually when you have small parks like that, you tend to, it's very much a community. It's a community and involves the owners. So they're almost like all like a little family there, if you will. So most of those are not going to want you there anyway. And if they do, again, you're limited too. So nothing against them, but I would say go into some bigger parks where there's a lot more happening. When you get to these 200, 300, or even more pads mobile homes, there's always somebody selling, there's always somebody buying, there's always somebody moving in or out, etc. So therefore, gives you the ability to keep on investing, right? Not to mention what happens when you go to your comps. How do you know what's selling in the market? If you're in one of these little bitty small mobile home parks and nobody has sold in the past 10 years, what do you know? What this home worth is at this point? And that's huge. That's something that I see a lot of investors struggling with, and I can't blame them. I mean, in mobile home investing, we don't have the Zillow, the Trulia, the Realtor, FMLS, etc. Right? So you have to do the legwork. You have to find out what a home is worth now, as is, whether it's distressed, what does it look like? What are mobile homes being sold, move-in readies? What is the ARV, after repair values? Right? So all these things have to take into account, because only then will you know if something is a good deal, not so good of a deal, or not a deal that you can take at this time until it becomes one. So you have to start with your numbers and know your markets. And if you start in one area, which you should, I'll say start with something that if you had to travel to every day, not saying that you will, but if you had to travel to every day, especially your landlord, would you be able to make that drive? Because if you're, let's just say I'm in Atlanta, okay? If I'm in Atlanta and I want to start investing, well, let me go ahead and start investing down in Lake City, Florida. Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense if I'm new to this, and that's what, 8 hours or 6 hours, whatever it is. I can't drive there every day if I had to. So it should just make it that principle to be able to, if I had to, start out that way. Now, yes, you may hear me in other videos where I invest in different states, I coach in other states, and soon it will be nationwide. And there, you learn your markets, and once you do, you can do the same thing in every market. You just have to know those numbers. Every market is different, but you would definitely grow into that. And I would highly suggest, do not let that be one where you start. Okay, if you're in a certain area, find a radius, 25 miles, 50 miles, and Google, browse, go out in the market, drive around, and see what mobile home parks you stumble upon, right? And then again, don't forget, your branding, marketing, advertising is huge, where that is how we advertise to purchase mobile homes. And these go more directly to our students. But it all starts that way, because I personally don't like to chase deals. I don't like to browse deals. I like to sit right here and watch those deals coming in. You hear my phone dinging, those are deals. And that's because I've done my branding, marketing, advertising this evening. Whenever you're watching this video, to me, it's almost 9 o'clock, but this is about the time you brand. And anybody who wants to get in any of these, I have many coaching programs available. And now, here with being 2021, we're going to make a best year out of it. I have a lot more direct coaching that's coming your way. So definitely check my page out. Email me directly right there. I'll be happy to see any way I can assist you. But all these things that I'm talking about, I do coach directly. I do mentor. So be happy to take you on. Your maximum allowed offer is going to be huge. Again, getting back into it. And that goes again hand in hand with the market, because too many investors are getting into this game, mobile home investing. And I'm seeing you offer way too much money, and your response to when I ask you, why did you offer that, or worse yet, why did you pay that? Well, they were asking 10,000, so I figured 8,000 was a good deal. Based on what? Because you knocked them down $2,000 for what you were asking? Yeah, I figured that was a good deal. Well, you figured wrong. You have to know you have to know your markets. Okay. Just because you were able to knock them down to a certain extent does not make it a good deal or not a good deal. It might have been a great deal at 10,000. I don't know because I don't know the markets. But if you know your markets, you will realize that okay, you have a MAO, maximum allowed offer, and that's what you can pay. No more. We're not beating up anybody. We're not here to steal or take from anybody. We're here to pay fair market value. No more. We're mobile home investors. This isn't real estate. So I would break those numbers, and then therefore you have an MAO. Talking to sellers a lot of time, and I get this from new investors. Well, I don't want to offer that. That's too low. Well, look, it's not again. It's not about beating them up or taking from them. It's about making a fair market value, but it's how you present it. Okay, real quick, let me make an example of that. Let's say you're third party. You're seeing an investor, and you're seeing a mobile home owner. Okay, and you have three different mobile home owners. By the way, you have a mobile home park owner, you have a mobile home park manager, and you have a direct mobile home uh, owner who most likely lives in the home. You approach and you talk to each one very differently. I can coach you on that as well. Okay, let's say you're overseeing this conversation and you just randomly you're seeing this very cut dry, very short of a conversations, which is terrible because you have to be able to report and build a relationship. But you hear the owner say, "Well, yeah, I'll take 10,000 for my home right now." That's common. Right now, there's something about now urgency. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow, we'll come back. And you hear the investor say, "Well, I'll give you 2,000." How do you think that conversation is going to go after that? Give me 10,000 right now. I'll give you two. Get out of my driveway. That's what's going to happen. It's how you approach them and it's how you talk to them. You build a rapport, you build a relationship, and you explain. You explain your offer. And this goes to real estate as well. And every mobile home owner, everybody that's selling thinks their mobile home is worth the most. Period. Well, so and so across the street sold for 20,000. The guy behind me sold for 15,000. They're trying to sell for 17,000. My home is worth 10,000. And that's plenty fine. You can think whatever you like, Mr. Owner, respectfully. But here's the reason why I'm offering 2,000. And you break it down because of this, that, those, them, and some of that. I can only offer you this. All the responsibility comes to me, etc. So therefore, this is what I can offer. You don't have to take my offer, but it's a fair market value offer. And there you go, and leave it at that. And I break this down a lot more in my coaching program. So definitely, because that is huge. And one thing that I'll go ahead and toss up on you, take it as a nugget. No, there you go. No, 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 no. Get used to that word. You're going to hear it a lot, and it's plenty fine. Make friends with it. With every no, there's a yes that's coming right around the corner. Not to mention, if you make an offer, especially the first offer, and the owner says yes, you should be upset. That's right. You should be upset. Why? Because you offer too much. No seller of it. I don't care what somebody's selling. If it's a negotiation game and the first offer that you made, they took it, you offer too much. There's nothing to be proud about. Now, that does not mean that it's not a deal, but it just means that you could have negotiated better. And had you known your numbers, you would have probably realized that I did offer a little bit too much. You can still make it a deal, perhaps. I hope. But know your numbers, know your market. Closings, this is really where it's going to start breaking away from real estate and how we close, how you should be closing. There is no, not to say that there can't be, we're not knocking them out of the way, but in a traditional mobile home closing, it's a title. A mobile home is a title. It's much like a vehicle, a boat, a motorcycle. It's personal property with a VIN. Okay. Yes, people live in them, but it's still personal property. That's it. So how you close on it is nothing more than the same way you would close on a boat, a motorcycle, or a car. You go to the DMV or tax assessors. There's different documents that you have to have in hand now, and the due diligence is huge because when you do show up, the last thing you want to find out is there's this, there's that, liens is what I'm talking about, or there's taxes not paid, or something is not up to date. The deal is going to go south very quickly, and that's going to be a waste of time to you, the owner, and everybody around that's involved in the deal. So there's due diligence that I coach on that as well. But closings are a lot easier. They are easy. I can close the deal on a mobile home in 2 minutes. So maybe a minute if they sign quickly. because everything is done. The due diligence has been taken care of. So, and it's how you present it again. Who is involved? You will have to be in front of certain people, and you have to be able to present all the documents and all the due diligence checks out. You have to have the money. You have to have a bill of sale per se. I coach you on that, and that is huge. Should you have a bill of sale with every sale? Visit my coaching. I will tell you on that, and you will be surprised. Uh, Repairs and handymans we talked about, and that's something that, if you come from a background of that, I've had students that's all they've done all their entire life, and they end up being very successful. And the reason, they have it like a hobby. Yes, once upon a time it was a job, but once they come in and these are the homes or investments, they actually take it to a little higher level than I would. But again, they're doing the work and they're enjoying it. So hey, by all means, they kind of checked out with that. Great, good for them. But if you don't have any background, especially, you need to learn what to look for. You need to learn how to hire. How to hire. When I got into this game of home investing and hiring contractors, and any real estate or mobile home investor will tell you, hiring handyman and contractors is one of the hardest tasks. So you're in for a treat on that if you're getting in and you don't know. With me, I was coming in from a logistics corporate. I was management, and that's kind of one of my job tasks, was to constantly hire and fire. Unfortunately, that was part of, but hiring. And I had 72 employees and 6 supervisors under me. So I was used to that hiring and the process and taking the time. But there's many things that I break in my coaching, and that's how to hire, because even those that check out, you'll be surprised sometimes how they let you down. And that is the unfortunate. Just remember here, and I'll toss this again. These are nuggets, tips, and I'm trying to toss you all over. It's for your benefit. If your handyman or contractor cannot get to work because of whatever reason, and they'll have reasons, they'll have excuses. If they cannot get to work, every day that home is not completed, that you're holding on to, it is costing you money. Just remember that. So exit strategies are huge. Depends on what you want to do. I don't know. I played my role as a landlord when I first started. Had a total of 10 mobile homes, good tenants. I will say that, good tenants. And again, I was screening them, over screening them, and then some, and I was making sure. So I don't have a complaint on that. I did have the proper setup. And by that, I mean, I was doing it all on my own. Hey, my toilet's leaking. I had to stop what I'm doing and rushing over there. There's different setups, and I coach on that as well, where you should not be doing all the work yourself. For one, that's a weakness, not a strength. But we teach you on that. But your exit strategy is huge. Your exit strategy starts from the beginning. It should not start somewhere in the middle, or, oh, this deal's not so good, I should do this. No, it doesn't work that way. When you first walk any property, in your mind, you should be thinking, does this feel like a rental? Does this feel like a wholesale? Does this feel like something I can keep and maybe do an owner financing? Maybe create a note, maybe do an RTO. Options. But you need to know your exit strategy. Now, it can change. In the past, there were times when I would come in and, I'm not so interested in this one here. It's kind of, I'm just not feeling it. Let's go ahead and wholesale it. And a couple of days later would go by, and I was getting ready to have investors come in, and I thought, you know what? I do want this home. I'm missing one of my portfolio anyway. I should be increasing that. And I ended up keeping it. We turned it into an RTO. So it does not matter, but you have to have an idea. And if you have more than one exit strategy option for each home that you get, even better. So now you have a backup. So those are the many of the things that we think any mobile home investor, newbie especially, getting into, these are things that you need to know. If you're sitting there on the sideline and hoping to get in and something, at least educate on some of those topics that I've talked on, because you will need them. And I assure you, they will come in handy. So if you're looking for coaching, I'd be happy to. Right now, we've cleared a lot of time because we're doing a lot of things differently, and I am taking a lot of more students. I also had about 7 students that just finished their courses. So that's 7 additional that I can't take on at this time. The one-on-ones are not going to be forever. I'm thinking by the end of January, I extended it. But by the end of January, I probably will cut that off. It will probably go back into, and I say probably because we're always making changes. We're always trying to supply you, the customer, the student, the ones that need, the ones that email me and suggest things. Thank you for that, by the way. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, by the way. But by February, I think Valentine's Day, my birthday, by the way. I think we're going to go back into doing the conference, more of a webinar, which is once a month, and we'll try to plan it out, because at that point, the shadowing is coming around again. Some of you are asking, when do we get to shadow you? When do you get to take us to parks and show us how do you invest directly? We want to see it firsthand from you. February. Stay tuned. What we have in small groups, COVID is still around. Small groups, that'll be a van, perhaps, maybe a small bus. I don't know yet. Trying to get it in the works with the team and seeing how it all checks out because distancing is huge. COVID and safety is first. But that is definitely coming back February. I'll be happy to. I miss those. So, there's a great connection, great teams that we get to take out the mobile home parks, and firsthand, you get to see how to talk to managers, park owners, direct sellers. We make cold calls. You get to learn about brand marketing, advertising. You get to see homes that are distressed, some that are distressed and have never been touched and are waiting for an investor to come in, and some that are on the way out and ready to about to hit the market. So you get to see all these things. It is one day you get to spend with me, but I've had more investors take action from that coaching than any other. Nothing against some. I'm very hands-on. I can learn so much from right here behind the screen and reading books. I love to read now. But there's something about if you show me, if I can just see you do it just one time, do it, it's a whole different meaning. And I think a lot of you are the same way. So definitely, like I said, shadow me. That's the name of that option. Then some of you may not need all these lessons that I mentioned. Maybe some of you already know how to structure a deal, exit strategy. You know about wholesale. We didn't talk into that. But you do need a little more assistance on how to close. I don't know exactly how to put the documents together, how it takes place, who should all be there, what all should I check with, what is the proper due diligence, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lesson just in that, and we can provide it for you. So reach out to me. Okay. The last option that I have is back pocket. And this, I say realtors taking on to this one the most. That's who I typically get on back pocket access is realtors. Not pointing them out. Everybody's available to this. But this, I think, would be not so much advanced because you can be a beginner and you can take this option. This is more like a 30-day subscription. So what you do is you pay up front for 30 days and you have me at your back pocket access at all times throughout the day. We use a couple apps for that, basically more like a walkie-talkie thing, and we'll provide you with the app on that. And this is for fast responses, because if you're taking these coaching calls and even the one-on-ones, you may be writing your questions throughout the week, and then when we have the coaching, you answer. I will go through that Q&A section after our coaching call, whatever that one may be for that week. But a lot of times, especially if you're out there already making deals, you don't have time to burn. Maybe there's an issue with the title. Maybe you're trying to make an offer and something just came up. You were doing an inspection and reviewing a home and something is wrong more than you thought of. Is it still worth the deal? You need to be able to pick up that phone and, hey, I'm sitting here walking this and we just suddenly walked in the back home on the home back bedroom, and this whole floor is soft. The contractor got under there and he says all the insulation's on the ground. I don't know. What do you think? Those are questions that you need to quick, because if you take your time, another investor behind you will come along and take your deal. Something like that, I would within 5 minutes. Typically, I respond and a whole flooring. It's only about $30-$40 worth of lumber and new insulation. You're looking at about $100. A handyman should be able to do it for about $200. I don't really see a deal breaker, but definitely negotiate a little bit lower and point that out. Something like that. So you see very quickly, and the same thing goes for the deals. Maybe you're at the DMV ready to close, and they just so popped up that, hey, there is a lien on something like this. I said this was going to be a short video, and I didn't keep it that way. It's hard. There's a lot of information I want to provide you with, so deal with it. But same thing. Hey, there's a lien on here, so I cannot close until that lien is paid off. What do I do? Okay, I would respond to you immediately. Okay, we'll get with the owner. The lien has to be closed, no doubt, because they're not going to transfer that title. There is no deal until that is done. So I would something like that. Simple, Mr. Owner, you got to take care of this here. I can sit here and we can provide the funds, but it's going to come out of your pocket to pay for that. Otherwise, we don't have a closing. So you see quickly, and then we can proceed and the deal can continue. Things like that. So definitely check those out. j@garciamhu.com. Email me. garciamhu.com website, and a lot of edits are coming. You will be seeing some of those. Possibly by mid-January, we should have everything updated that we are offering, and we can definitely assist you in any of the above. But hit a comment, drop a comment question on here. If it's something that I can answer on here, I'd love to answer it. I am making a lot more videos. We have not had a Q&A in a while. So if there's a lot of questions that you have, go ahead and list them on here. I'll be happy to take them on next time. And, again, I always say, it's not always a question that you don't know, but a lot of people may not know either. So go ahead and ask it. You could be answering it for a lot of people. That does it for this video. I've talked enough and hope to talk to each and every one of you. If you are getting into mobile home investing, welcome. Happy to have you. Any way I can help you, I'm here to assist. Till next time, thank you for watching.